It's time to dad. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Time to Dad. I'm here tonight with JT and Will. Will, thanks for joining us again. Last minute. I know you sometimes get thrown on here at the last minute, but we appreciate you joining us. Appreciate you being on the podcast. Anyways, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about tonight, but spring is in the air. Pollen has been killing my son. We've been trying to get outdoors, but Jesus Christ, every time he goes outside, within 10 minutes, it looks like he's been fighting Mike Tyson for the past hour. It just tears his eyes up, man, and he gets all stuffy. And I had to send his teacher a friggin' message on the parent app the other day, and I was like, I know it looks like Emerson got in a bar fight, but that's just his allergies because, dude, he woke up, man, and his eyes were just so puffy and crusty from the pollen and all that shit. And I feel his pain because I was the same way when I was a kid. I was wearing a friggin' doctor's mask outside because I had asthma too. So not only were my eyes jacked up, but I also had issues breathing when it got so bad because of it just made my asthma 10 times worse. But it's springtime, so we're trying to get outdoors. I mean, the only thing we're really doing right now is we have t-ball when we haven't had a monsoon for the past week and a half. So he's only played 2 games, and he was supposed to have four or five by now. I mean, I appreciate the rain washing the pollen away and all that crap, but it's kind of been annoying.
Doesn't last long.
What do you guys like to do? You got any spring, summer hobbies that you're getting back into now that's warming up and getting nice?
Fishing,
camping. I can't. I haven't spring camped in a while. We try to go early fall or like late in the summer where it cools down pretty good at night. But
we're gonna brave it. We're going to brave it. We have our first camping trip next weekend. So that'll be our first time out and going to just a local camp spot. And, so one thing I really wanted to talk about with camping real fast is just like, why is there no free camping spots anymore that I can find anywhere?
That's my gripe, man. You can't even go to a state or national park, and it's like hotel prices for a goddamn campsite.
Seriously.
Between park entry and a campsite, you're like $60 at least for a couple of days, like a weekend. It's ridiculous.
It's driving me up a wall, but we got our first camping trip coming up. I got to dust all my fishing gear off. I have to go clean all my reels, re-grease them. So dusting all that off, getting ready to go for the season. I got to rebuild all my tackle and figure out what I need still, and I pick up some new baits. I haven't tried chatterbait. I've heard a lot of good things about chatterbait, so I'm definitely excited to pick that up.
Yeah, I love it.
Get a good one though.
I haven't.
There's some that are like.
What is a good one? All right.
Well, there's shit. What's that latest? God damn it! Why can't I think of the brand? It's super popular. JT, you might know. I might have to look it up. But they range anywhere from
because I found some of the cheapest.
Yeah, they range from like $5 all the way up to like $25. And I've found some of the, I've had a couple of the like $5, $10 ones. That little barb at the top for your tagline to go through. I've actually bent that to the point of where it comes out of the knot. I don't know if it's just inferior metal in it, and I mean, there's some big fish, but the shit that pulled it off, I know, was not that big. And it wasn't a log before you start talking shit. I didn't hook a damn log. I've never seen a log fight like that. But yeah, I've been a couple of the cheaper ones. I don't know if do you have a Ollie's near you? Is Ollie's a Texas or a Georgia thing?
There's an Ollie. I think they're building an Ollie's.
Oh man,
I think I know which one you're talking about. I think I know which brand you're talking about. You're probably talking about Strike King.
No, it's not. Let me look it up. It's not Strike. It's gonna drive me nuts if I don't look it up.
I don't know.
We have badass Abu Garcia rod and reel set up.
It's Z-Man.
Good calls.
It's the Z-Man chatterbait. So there's an original, and then there's they have like a line above the original. The jackhammer. The jackhammers I've had the most success with, but they're both made by Z-Man.
You'd be surprised at some of the cheapest lures and baits and everything like that.
Oh, I use some stupid shit, man.
Oh, I do too. But I mean, I found some really cheap shit that tends to be just as good as as anything else. And so I try not to put too much stock into like brands and names and everything like that where lures are concerned. So I just like to get different colors and variations.
What I started out with doing was those mystery boxes for fishing.
I love those things.
Yeah.
I bought a subscription for like a year. Now I have way more tackle.
Do you get anything of value? Because all the ones I've seen like unboxed, it's like, okay, well, now I just paid $23 for $10 worth of shit. Maybe they just had a bad box.
So it depends. On some occasions, I got nothing but just swim baits and some dive baits. That's about it. I got some good jigs out of the deal. That I'm a big jig fisherman. I love doing that, and then as well Texas rig and wacky rig. So it came with a lot of that stuff. Yeah, and then that's most of what you get. Obviously I didn't get any chatterbaits. I didn't get a lot of the other stuff. So that
would be the whole box.
You
sticker and a chatterbait.
Not a single chatterbait out of the entire year. And I got the elite box too. It was like the nicest one, and it was basically my anniversary gift from my wife. And she was like, "Here, you get a year's subscription to this." And I was like, and then it started coming in, and I was like, "This is pretty much the same stuff as last time, just different brand." And I was like, "Oh man, I don't know if this is going to be worth it now." But it is one of those things. Like if you're building out a tackle and you don't know what to get, you don't know what to fish or how to fish it. It's a good starter kit.
It'll make you try random shit too, because you'll probably fish anything that comes in there.
Oh yeah, but no, I dusting off the old reels, regracing them, doing all that, testing out my rods, making sure there's no splinters or cracks anywhere that I need to pay attention to. I broke a rod last year because it was fraying towards the base, and I had it for like 12 years, and it through multiple moves and everything else, it just started rubbing and eventually just got weak. Nice. And last year it snapped. And it was on a log. So
I have not broken a rod yet, and I don't know how, because when you start kayak fishing, you forget that you've got like an 8-foot rod in a holder hanging on, the back. And I've gone like many a time up under those trees that hang low to the water, and I'm just going through like, oh, I'll fit no problem. And next thing I know, like a rod gets ripped out of my friggin' kayak, and I'm like, damn it. Luckily you catch it in time to grab it, hopefully, which I have. But yeah, I've done that a couple times and been like, shit. And then I'm spending 5 minutes trying to get it untangled out of the branch that snagged it. But no, ollies. Yeah, if you have a ollies, they have at least the one near me, they got a pretty large fishing section. And this last summer, they had like a whole buyout of like Z-Man chatterbaits, and they were like $1.99 a piece. And they get all kinds of soft baits they'll sell them for like 99 cents a pack. Oh, so dang. if you got one near you, or you got one opening, it's pretty sweet. Check it out.
Yeah, I got one.
I'll definitely check that out.
I got one pretty close to me. It's only a few miles away, so I'll have to go check that out.
They have rods and reels, but it's mostly like the cheaper Zebco shit. They do have a good selection of like kids rods and reels, because you're not going to spend $100 on a kid's setup, so they'll fish with whatever. But yeah, the longer rods and reels they have are all like cheaper stuff. But if you just want to try out fishing and don't have anything, it's worth the buy.
Yeah. And it'd be a good spot for the little, for the kids' baits, because I'm not going to throw a $25, bait on a kid's rod. Just not doing that.
No.
Nope. So, it'll be good to get the cheap stuff and be like, all right, kids, here's a bobber. And then, we'll grab some earthworms and throw them out
Emerson there. Fishes with that, I bought one of those $10 bobber fishing kits, and he's just been fishing. It comes with a couple bobbers, some weights, some cheap ass hooks, and I forget a couple swivel hooks and stuff. And He's not ready for the expensive. He likes to throw the plastic baits because he thinks they're cool. So I'll just stick one on a hook. But he doesn't understand how to fish it, so it just sits out there floating in the water. But he enjoys it, so whatever. I'm not judging.
Well, Jasper's definitely interested. I got him a small little $10 Paw Patrol Zetco, and it came with a little floating styrofoam practice lure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, right now he just wants to be whatever doing whatever Daddy's doing or what Papa's doing. So just give him a rod and reel. Just give him a rod, and whether he's tossing now.
Emerson still can't cat.
He wants to toss it in the water. He wants to toss it in the water. In fact, he's been trying so much so he's trying to just put the whole rod in. He's like, hey, in the water.
Throws the whole rod into the water.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Dude, Emerson's a happy camper until we're not catching like any kind of fish. And then it's just a shit show of, can we go now? It's like 10 minutes after we got there. I'm like, Jesus, kid. I did not spend an hour loading up the kayak and all this fishing gear and driving 30 minutes over here to just turn around and leave.
That's one great thing about where we're going for camping, where we're going to be right on the lakefront. And so we're going to hop out of the tent and be nice. Bring the kids right out to the edge, toss the lines in. If they're like, Dad, I'm bored, be like, all right, go back to the camping spot. You're fine. You can come back out here if you're ready. I'm going to be out here the whole time.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, check this out. My nieces, his daughters, both went bass fishing on my wedding day. We had this real nice little venue, and they had a big old stock pond right there, and we were sitting there bass fishing.
That's great.
All up until within an hour of the ceremony.
Yeah, we ended up pulling. We ended up pulling 4 smallies out of there, and those were pretty good size. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this thing's got some stuff."
Yeah.
And even my oldest, she was like, that was her first fish she ever caught. And oh my goodness, how scared she was of the fish. It was absolutely hilarious. I got photos of it, and she's just like holding it out away from her. Like, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, you're going to be a great fisherman. Angler of the year right there.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And then, my wife and I, recently, got into firearms. Bit of background is I, spent better part of about 3 years competitively shooting, and throughout my entire life, I've never owned a gun. I've had guns passed down to me in certain regards, but I've never owned one, ever purchased one outright. So this was my first ever purchase.
Nice.
And then my wife also grabbed a pistol for herself, and then we got a couple of 22s for the kids. So looking forward to getting them on the range and getting them shooting, practicing.
You're on the list now. 4 or 5. Did you buy them all together?
All together. And so now I'm on that list, and I'm just going to be like, hey guys, don't worry about what I'm doing. You just let me be me.
I swear, I lost all my firearms in a boating accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. ATF.
But it's good though, because this will be the start to me hopefully getting into 3-gun competition, because I really do want to try to branch back into competitive shooting. It's such a great passion of mine. I really enjoy it. There's just something about clearing stages and everything. Yeah, and the other thing that I'm looking at doing is getting into reloading. My wife's reloaded before when she was shooting .308 back in the day, and I want to get into it. One, it can make it a little bit cheaper depending on what rounds you're buying, where you're sourcing from, and all that. And then I get a
be with me. I've got some reloading equipment.
Quality control.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but yeah,
like some reloading equipment. I don't have everything you'll need, but I've got like a brass tumbler. Got quite a few things. We've got about 200 pounds of lead.
Damn. Okay.
My grandfather used to do a lot of competitive shooting too, and he reloaded.
Yeah, and you'd find a lot of people that do competitive shooting reload, because like you get such inconsistency out of a regular store-bought pack. Even just a couple of grains of powder difference, it makes a difference in where your shot groups go. And like when you're talking even that level of competitive shooting, you're talking millimeters make a difference. So
even then practicing just costs, the cost of ammo, so much cheaper to reload.
Yeah, but those are some of the things that I'm breaking off the rust on, or trying to get into my hobbies, as it will, trying to trying to get myself into, but they're all expensive because guns are expensive. So is ammo, and so is fishing. And none of it's
most
cheap.
men's hobbies are expensive hobbies. I don't know of any cheap men's hobbies unless you consider like jogging a hobby or something.
I don't know if jogging's a hobby or torture, but you know,
Depends.
I mean, take your pick on what you wanted to claim it as. But me personally, my knees explode every time I go for anything more than a fast-paced walk.
Yeah.
My knees are just inflamed and red and blown up, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm not walking for the next 2 days. So, I mean, there's others that, you know, run 100 miles like Goggins.
I've never been and never will be a distance runner. I can sprint, but I'm not a distance runner.
I can go my speed. That's it. I'm not
12-minute mile.
I'm not doing long distance. Look, I'm pretty proud of it. You know, 37. I'm a smoker, but I can still run my 2 miles in about 11 minutes, which back when I was in, that was the minimum PT step. Just be able to pass minimum. So
11.
The fact that I can still do that,
everybody in the military has to meet that standard.
In the army, in the army, that used to be the case.
That's pretty. That's pretty quick. 11 minutes for 2 miles.
Well, so they start you off whenever you do your first PT, they have you doing a 1 mile. Mm-hmm. They want men to be able to run anywhere, like the target, the bare minimum is 8.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, because I think in high school I was pretty athletic and I was running like a 7-minute mile.
Right. But towards the end of your training and everything like that, they do like you to try for 11 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not exactly right at 11 minutes or less, but I'm at 12:23 for 2 miles.
Okay.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, your standards have fallen in the Army. Minimum now is all the way out at the maximum. The farthest you can, or the longest you can go is 20 minutes and complete your 2 miles.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel better.
That's not even a brisk walk.
That does not make me feel better.
Yeah, so for the Marines, it was 3 miles.
It's like a stroll in the park.
Scoring 100 on it, so perfect score is 18 minutes, and then I think it was 28 minutes was the max, the longest you can go for 3 miles. Yeah. Well, I was an average like 20-minute pace kind of person. Maybe not. I graced 19 minutes and like 58 seconds once, and I was dead by the end of it. After that, I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to push that hard ever again. And then I went to the depot, and they pushed me pretty hard there, where I was running 6 miles a day at 4-minute paces, sprinting after recruits that were, cross country runners that were, these kids would run sub 17 minutes in 3 miles. And I'm like, yeah, right. Am I keeping up with that?
That's
like, yeah, right.
I never actually had any, obviously, they're they want you to be able to do that for a reason, right? They want to just know that there's a physical standard to be upheld and everything like that. But while on deployment, I mean, in truth, I never had to run, like full on run 2 to 3 miles in a certain time. It's like,
you never know.
Yeah. but the fact that they've pretty much upped the maximum to 20 minutes, that's kind of disappointing. I can walk that too. I can walk that in 20 minutes. 2 miles in 20 minutes.
And you better believe there's still people that fail it. You better believe it. That still happens to this day. Yeah, but no. So those are my hobbies. And again, I really want to get into 3-gun reloading. But yeah, so that's my spring. Excited to crack into these things. Then I want to get me a hobby car. I want to start tearing apart a car.
Are you having a midlife crisis, sir?
Maybe. I mean, we don't know right now. It could be anything. It could just be me being my ADHD brain going, hey, Will, you want to do 19 hobbies?
Yeah, I got to be always doing something.
Like it. Exactly.
That's
or
how I am.
It's a midlife crisis.
Yeah. It's fine. Outside of working and providing for your family, you want something else you're good at. I mean, you were in the military, so you were expected to to be driven to be perfect in certain areas and everything like that. So I can understand that the reason to want to go several different directions for hobbies. I did that for years. I still do. I've got more hobbies than I know what to do with. I can't even keep up with them all.
Yeah, I mean, you got a reloader kit.
Focus on well, as far as maintaining hobbies, I'll recommend, because I still struggle with it. Find hobbies that, obviously you're not going to find a hobby that doesn't cost money.
Never.
But find one that won't break the bank, that, you can, see investing, time and money into something. If it's something that, that you can, you said that you and your wife, got you some firearms, so that's something you can do together. So obviously, if you can do something that can turn into a shared experience with the family, obviously I'm going to recommend that. But yeah, just try and limit, where you want to go. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually you're going to have so many projects. Eventually you're going to ask them, like, what are you doing with this shit? You hadn't touched it for in a year. It's like,
I actually
why? I mean,
I say that to my wife every weekend.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm trying to declutter the house, and she's been working really hard at it, which is great because the house needs to be decluttered. But then the very next day, she comes home with a car full of shit, and I'm like, what? I thought you just got rid of all this stuff to declutter, and now you're. And she's like, yeah, but this will help me organize. And there's shit she bought last week and still just sitting in the living room doing nothing.
She was clearing out space for the new shit.
Yeah. It's the story of my goddamn life.
I actually just recently went through that. I used to be a huge golfer for the longest time. I was golfing since I was 12, and but I recently injured my back. Oh, okay, that's not recently. 2011, I injured my back, and ever since then, I couldn't golf right. So then I just recently got rid of my golf clubs, and then I also had a whole like master mechanics toolbox that when we moved over here to Georgia, we could not transport. It was too much. So I ended up selling that. So now I don't have any mechanics tools. So that's pretty much gone, which is why I want the hobby car. So it gives me a reason to go buy more tools. And then, things like that where, I've gotten rid of quite a few, like snowboarding's off the map. That's not a thing anymore. I used to do that religiously.
Snowboarding in Georgia.
No. And, I mean, my body, it's telling me like, all right, man, like you're not as good as you used to be. Like just this Sunday, my back went out because I went out and sprayed my backyard, and I have this Ryobi backpack that holds all my, pesticides and everything else, and picked it up wrong, and my left leg lost mobility, and I lost feeling in it, and I was down for the count for a better part of Monday and Tuesday. Today, I'm just now starting to get back into the routine. I'm still got some soreness in the back, and it's like, dude, you're not as young as you used to be, so let's not go out and go do a double backflip on a snowboard.
There's people at work that
it's funny that you mentioned that.
Go ahead.
I said it's funny that you mentioned that. I don't know exactly what year you were born, but there was a video. It said for people born in the 90s, and then it has this guy sitting there. I was just, damn, I feel good today. Good today. And then he said, and then you get up and he just falls right back down and back gives out. And then you hear something in the background say, "Not today, motherfucker."
Yeah, dude. People don't. It comes on quick, man. One day you're like limber as a gazelle, can do whatever you want, and then one day you just wake up from doing like normal outdoor shit, and you're like, "Oh my god, I feel like a fucking bus hit me." Comes out of nowhere.
Point, no matter how old I have been, never have I once compared myself to being as limber as a gazelle. I've never been.
You know what I mean.
I can say that, I get what he's saying there. Like, I felt like there was a couple days I woke up, I got out of bed, and I was like, I got the whole world in my hand right now. I'm going to do everything all at once because I just got the energy and the ability to do it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the next day hits, and I'm like, well, that was a bad idea because now I need a wheelchair.
Dude, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was renovating our upstairs for our bedroom, and I was carrying like 3 pieces of sheetrock up the stairs at a time. Dude, if I tried to do that now, they'd be taking me out of the house in a stretcher. I'd fucking throw a hip out or slip a disc or my shoulder. Something would happen. That's not supposed to happen. It just...
Yep, it doesn't help that, the kids still want you to go do stuff.
Yep.
Like Monday, my son was like, "Dad, put me on your shoulders," and I look at him like, I can't walk, my friend. I let alone put you on my shoulders. Like,
yeah, I'm going to use you
over
as
here
a
basically
crutch,
in a
son.
wheelchair.
What are you talking about?
You put me on your shoulders, son.
You got to carry me now. Yeah,
Dude,
so,
my son just entered the like rough housing phase of boyhood, and oh my god, like I don't mind when he just runs over and like jumps on me or like hauls off and hits me, unless he like hits me in the nuts or something. He's totally unaware about like. He knows he has private parts and it hurts when he gets hit there, but he's oblivious to dad having, a dick down there that hurts when you fucking hit it. But like I don't mind when he jumps on me or he'll hit me or whatever messing around. But it's when he like out of nowhere he just runs up and like grabs onto my back and I'm like, oh God. Like that.
If he catches you just right,
yeah,
you're
exactly.
gonna be out there down.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm tired just thinking about it.
Yeah, I was renovating our living room, putting a new entertainment center in, and I was working on some wiring, like leaned over, and then all of a sudden my son jumps on my back and like hurdles me forward into the ground, and I'm like, and I like sat up for a second, my back's just in throbbing pain, my head hurts, I hit the ground, and I'm looking at him like, really? Was that necessary? What did you get out of that? Really? And I just stared at him for the next like 20 minutes, just like contemplating, like, well, I mean, do we need 3? We could go down to 2.
I'll tell you what another one of my favorite hobbies is. It's kind of a
2 for what?
Eating and grilling.
Eating and grilling.
I freaking love. I love. This is grilling season. I've already been on the grill 3 times, and the one I had, the grill that I have, is an Oklahoma Joe's smoker, pellet
Fancy
smoker.
Pants McGee over here.
Well, you say that, but it's not. It's a hand-me-down, and it's only because my pop didn't want it.
Hey, they don't build them like they used
to. The pellet smoker is not. It isn't worth it. So I just use the big old grill. It's propane and everything like that. But I freaking love this time of year because when the weather's right, I'm cooking on the grill.
The weather's always right for grilling, sir. You just have to bear with the elements and deal with it.
I could see Nick over there just like sitting out.
Even if that means running outside in a downpour to flip your steaks over. And then running back to shelter.
And so you're sitting there calling me fancy, talking about steaks all the time. Like, who just
we don't eat steaks that often.
I don't either.
I did.
We recently went and got a quarter cow, and I'll tell you, probably one of the best purchases.
I can't. You can get a quarter cow around here, but it's gonna cost you an arm and a fucking leg. Because I mean, we have some local beef and cattle farms, but not like you guys probably do.
Well, I mean, it was expensive.
Even down here, it's pretty costly.
Yeah, like I think so. Roughly, my brother-in-law on my wife's side, he ended up buying a half of that cow, and then between myself and another family, we split the quarter. Okay. And it was about $1,200 for each of us, and then like $1,800 for him. So I mean, it's expensive, but when you think about it, like I've got a deep freezer, 27, or I think it's 27 cubic inch deep freezer that's completely full to the brim. Yeah, and we've grilled straight steaks and all that other stuff, and I have so much of those things, like the meats, like I can't even cook it all in a year. I'm worried that we're gonna have to like end of the year throw a giant stew together and just throw all the meat in that we have left.
1,200, and it's gonna last you a year.
You scared me there for a minute because I know what you meant, but I whenever you first said 27 cubic inch, I was like, that's tight as shit.
Yeah, maybe cubic feet. I don't remember what the measurements are. Hey,
put a couple pounds of ground beef.
Yeah, one of those little ones for a cyber truck. But
is it battery powered? Is it battery powered freezer?
I mean, no.
How many miles?
As far as I know, I don't know. It's cubic inch right now instead of whatever the other measurement is. So I don't know. Maybe it's electric powered at this point.
That's funny.
But yeah, so we got the quarter cow, and that's been helping us out. And then I also found a new little trick. So if you go during like hunting season, I don't know if you guys do this or already knew it. It was new to me this year. But you can go to the food, meat processors, and they've got a ton of venison that they'll sell for super cheap from like hunters that bring deer back, and then they just don't want the venison, so they'll process it up and then sell it for super cheap. I got about 50 pounds of deer that I got for about like $60.
Huh.
And
yeah, I'm not buying venison. If I'm getting it, it's because I got it myself.
Well,
but
not
no, I know what you're talking
go
about.
Hunting.
Hey, Mr. Competitive Shooter.
You could competitively shoot at free range animals.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. What I'll do is, so a lot, you can, if, you can do pork fat, or if you like buy your own, say, a sirloin and you want to cut your own steaks and everything, all the fat that you trim off, you can save that and then grind that up with your deer meat. Or you can just go get you, say, a 20-pound roll with 25 to 30 pounds of venison and just mix it together.
Deer meat's pretty lean, isn't it? I haven't had it in a long time.
Oh, yeah, it's super lean. It's super lean, super dry. It's not something you don't want. You want to mix it with something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, though, feeds the kids.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it makes good burgers. We do spaghetti with it all the time. Of course, I've got me some cutlets and everything. That way we can do some chicken fried cutlets, backstrap, stuff like that.
I just grilled up some backstrap.
I've got like 80 pounds of ground deer meat left, and shit, I'm not going to have to worry about buying it for a long time. Hopefully I'll be able to get out in the woods and get me another one before I run out.
Yeah, I really want to try to get my hunting license this year, bag myself my first deer. I want to try it doing bow hunting. I feel like shooting it with a rifle, it's kind of like too easy. Like I'm used to shooting 500,000-600,000 yard shots and pinpoint accuracy. I'm not like, don't get me wrong, it is still a moving target.
You want to do it for
so there's a difference
equally
there.
For the sport as well as putting food on the table.
100%. Like I want to hunt my animal, like I want to track it.
Not reach out and touch it from 1,000 yards away.
Closer to that.
Look, I mean, yeah, if you're into that and you have all the time in the world to go tracking a deer or an elk or whatever, that's cool. But
I thought you need to do some big game hunting.
I never go hunting just to get me some animals. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just now got my first buck since I've started this past season. I don't care about animals. Obviously, I want to obey the law. Make sure I stay within the limit. My tags and everything like that. But I don't care about antlers. If I get me a buck, heck yeah, I'm happy about it. But I just want some meat. I've got like 2 or 3 doe tags. If that's all I get, I just want meat. I don't care about the having to track them or anything like that. The only tracking I want to do is after I've injured it and it needs to run away. It runs away that last little, and then you have to follow the blood trail. That's all I want. That's the only tracking I want. And even then, I thought about getting a dog.
See,
I want meat from my fridge. That's all I care about.
And I can sympathize with that. Like I do want to just be able to feed my family, but I also want to enjoy it. Like I don't want to go out there and just sit and wait and just sit up in a tree blind and just.
How often is it that you get to have quiet time? Answer me that.
Pretty regularly.
Yep.
I genuinely do. Like like my wife and I, thankfully, like we have opportunities quite often where, I'll go on a drive. I'll be on a drive back from home and the whole 30-minute car ride I get for free. And then there's often times where my wife and I, like, she'll be doing homework cause she's in college. So, the kids are in bed, she's doing homework, and I'll play video games or something and sit in my own silence and do my own thing. But don't get me wrong.
I get bitched.
The other part of it is fishing. Game. I haven't touched a video game like consistently in quite a while. Because I'm one of those that I overindulge in whatever it is that I'm doing. So for instance, I used to play a game called Destiny a while back, and this was almost like 5 years ago. Like when I first started playing it, I played it for 36 hours straight. and just never logged off. And
I've never done
when
that.
When I play video games, I overindulge. And so then, my wife has to tell me, she's like, all right, look, you have been playing nonstop all week for like 6 hours. I need you to disconnect and come back to the family. And I'm like, okay, my bad. And so then,
see, I used to play like Call of Duty and Battlefield, like first person shooter shit. And then I recently I got an Xbox because Emerson wanted some games that aren't available on the Switch. And so I bought a used Xbox just because I was like, I'm not going to play it that much and he's going to use it. But I recently discovered this game, DayZ, which is like it's like you guys have heard of it?
Yeah. I played a little bit.
But it's basically like a post-apocalyptic, like zombie world kind of survival game, and it's kind of shockingly realistic, the shit that can go on in the game. From like, you've got to periodically clean your gun. You've got to find loot a gun cleaning kit somewhere, find it, and clean your guns. Or your guns will jam more often, or they just won't. It'll get to the point of being ruined, and you won't even be able to fucking use it. So there's cool shit like that in the game. And then there's an ongoing battle of you need food and water, right? So there's a ton of water sources, but you've got to find like chlorine tablets if you're going to drink it out of some lake you fucking come across or the river. There you can get sick from eating bad or damaged food. And then you got to fucking try and find a town with a hospital where you can get like charcoal tablets to help your stomach or vitamins. And I kind of got absorbed into that game. And so I've been playing that, for a couple hours every night after Emerson goes to bed and shit. But she gives me shit about it because, she's like, why do you fucking play that? And you meet people on there and you make buddies with people and you regularly play with them. And she just doesn't understand why I play it. And I'm like, do you know, like, how easy it is just to shut off any other stupid shit you have going on in your life? Or like, if I didn't play that game, I'd be watching something stupid as shit on television or doom scrolling on Facebook, or worrying about, shit I have to do tomorrow at work. And she just doesn't get, like, it's a way for me to just remove myself from reality and all the, exactly. All the things you carry as a man, as a dad, as a fucking human being in life. She like thinks I'm legitimately taking the game fucking serious, and I could care fucking less. It's a hard game to learn at first. So the first 2 weeks I'd live for like 10 minutes and I fucking die because I starved to death or I ate something bad and I'm puking and I'm, and I'm just like, all right, whatever, time to respawn. Like I just honestly don't give a shit. It's just a way for me to allow my brain to not focus on all the outside shit that's causing, stress and sleeplessness. And so I deal with it. And now she just sits down there and makes fun of me because the animations for like eating a bag of chips are fucking hilarious. And opening doors are fucking funny. She just basically makes fun of the graphics now. I think she's finally like come around that's my happy escape for a couple hours a night if I want to play it. So she just makes fun of me, and people in the background are like that I'm playing with. They're like, "Who the fuck is that in the background, like talking shit?" And I'm like, "That's my wife. Don't worry about it. It's fine." But
just don't worry about what she's saying right now.
It is a good way to decompress. I've got an Xbox. The only reason I have the Xbox is because I want it for my job.
Nice.
I got into playing Civilizations again. I haven't played Civilization since Civilization 1.
Damn.
So, yeah.
I never played that, but I know how old that is.
Yeah, it's an old ass game. But playing Civilization 6, and I haven't successfully won or even finished a game because it can take so long to do.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
That was the reason why I consumed so much of my life in Destiny was 36 hours because so you have like different like activities and things, and similarly to what Nick was talking about with his game, like you meet people online, you have like online parties, and you'll have like raid parties. And I was a part of a group, and we would do these what are called raids, and essentially it was like a giant mega boss game where like you had to go fight all these minion people and then the big boss and then fight the minion people again, the big boss. It would take on average 6 hours to get through one raid.
The same can apply on a game called Warframe.
Oh, I've heard of Warframe. Yeah, I was thinking about it for a second. I've heard of Warframe.
I've never played like an RPG type game where you gotta do all that craziness. I don't know. I just like to be able to turn a game on, play for a couple hours, and then just turn it off and not give a shit. Yeah, blow myself up, fucking around with grenades or like whatever. It's fine.
And I enjoy those games too. I think for me the problem is that I go so long in between playing the game that by the time I'm picking it back up again, it's like, wait, what are the controls? All right, where was I at? What was I doing? What's the point of this? What was I doing? Oh, okay. And then I'm like right back to square one. And so then I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll go find another game to go play. The only game I ever played where I could drop it and pick it back up again was Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
By far, still hands down the best game I ever played. And I love that game. Like just the realism to it. That's not so real. It still doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's serious enough to where like it makes it to where like all of the water animations and the gravity aspects of it. The fact that your horse takes a shit, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did you build that into the game?
That's the funniest thing on DayZ. People are like, I've been on the same server for a month. I've drank in countless canteens of water, and my guy has yet to shit or piss. They're like, you did all this stuff to make the game as realistic as possible, but your character never has to shit or piss. So many people mock the game for that, and I'm like, whatever. Like, there are some hardcore dudes on that game, though.
It's such a menial thing. It's like, why are you going to pick that part?
Yeah.
Why are you going to try
to
pick that part?
Yeah, let's not talk about the fact that the cars glitch out and fly, hundreds of feet in the air, and then you die because of it. But we're gonna talk about how my character never takes a shit or a piss. But there's hardcore people. Like there's this one group I play with. I think now they've realized like I'm totally in it just to have fun and fuck around. But I play with them off and on, but like we'll be running across the field. So the army bases are obviously where all the like good stashes of weapons are that you can find. And so everybody's there's always heavy gunfire when you try to go to one of the military bases. And I remember we were running up to one, and I just stop in the middle of the field to like take. I had like a fucking can of tuna in my backpack, and I just stopped.
Eat it real quick.
I stopped mid sprint, open this can of tuna, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "My dude needs to eat. He's fucking hungry, man." And it was at that moment I was like, "These probably aren't the guys for me to play with because they're just too serious." I'm like, man, so what? We get ambushed.
They get too serious.
Yeah, we get ambushed and get shot in the face, and then we respawn, and we do it. Like, that's... The game is built to make you fucking die eventually, so you might as well just embrace that you're going to die and respawn. But they spend their whole time on the game, like, chasing down, like the M4A1's, like, the best rifle you can find in the game and all the attachments for it, and they spend the whole time they're online just trying to find that and all the barrel and attachment accessories for it and shit. And I'm like, dude, I just want to run around and shoot people and beat up zombies and die and do it again. Like, I just don't care.
COD used to be enjoyable until there's just so many children.
Dude, now
you get on there and you hear those little squeakers.
Yeah, you gotta mute them.
And I'm gonna tell you, I don't even cuss that much. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
I hear these 8-year-olds just. Damn.
And they talk, and as soon as they hear that you're like older than them by your voice, that's all they want to talk about is how fucking old you are. And you're like, all right, man,
all right,
like,
Grandpa,
good comeback. Yeah. No, but what drove me to stop playing Call of Duty and Battlefield are all the fucking bots, dude. Like, when I played regularly, I was damn good, and when I got the Xbox and got back into the newest Call of Duty. There are so many fucking bots and so many hackers, dude. It's wild. And Call of Duty touts itself on how good it is at anti-cheat and all this bullshit. It's not. And it makes playing the game fucking miserable.
Battlefield is no better.
Yeah. No, I mean, both those games were created so that men could just pick it up, after work, play for an hour or two, have some fun, and log off and go back to life. But it's so infuriating to play it anymore with all the cheating and hacking going on that it nobody fucking plays it anymore. It takes like 10, probably 5 to 10 minutes to find a server now. And when it first came out, dude, you could connect to a server in like 10 seconds. But nobody's playing it anymore because it's so riddled with hackers and bots and cheaters.
Well, I think that the other problem too with the games is that they have really done a terrible job at balancing the game.
Yeah,
is my biggest problem. Like, you get the God mode one gun that just is super OP, and now all of a sudden, like, you're dead in half a second.
And then they nerf the fuck out of it because everyone starts complaining. And you're like, "Whoa, this isn't even close to the power this weapon should have." They knee-jerk react to shit.
And then they turn around, and because they nerfed that gun, this other gun became like the most OG gun ever. And it's like it's a never-ending cycle. Then they can't just balance the game out a little bit to make it a little bit more realistic.
It's no longer let's make it as realistic as possible. Like, now you can the control. Have you looked at the fucking controls for Battlefield 4? Like, there are so many combinations. Like, dude, you can dive now, but you can dive like 15 fucking feet, like you're on a slip and slide. You can slide around corners like 20 feet. The sprint is like unrealistically fast. It's just not even close to when it first came out, where it was like the realistic first person shooter, right? And now it's just like this sci-fi war game.
Advanced Warfare.
Yeah,
they came out with Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty. From there, Call of Duty went shit. From it, Advanced Warfare. From there on, it just got shit. And then, so I've heard a lot of good things about Battlefield 5. I never played it, but I did try playing that 2042.
I have 4 or 5. I have the newest one, whichever one that is.
I think that's 2042 right now, and then I think they're working on Battlefield 6 or whatever. But I played it on Game Pass, whatever, 2042. And I mean, it's cool, but there are a lot of unrealistic elements.
I heard, have you played Arma? I think it's called Arma. That's supposed to be like one of the most realistic, like, military first person shooters. Like, there's no hit markers. There's no way to tell if who you shot at fell and died or if they laid down. Like, you physically have to run over and check, and supposedly it's
double tap or something.
Yeah, exactly. And DayZ's the same way. Like, you don't get a notification like you killed Tits McGee. It doesn't tell you who you killed, right? So the only way to find out is to run over there and see if that motherfucker like went prone or ran away or whatever. But apparently Arma's just like that, except like the weapons and the power of the weapons is way more accurate and shit like that. I've been thinking about checking it out, but it's not. I don't think it's on Game Pass, and I don't really want to spend money on it. But I've watched a few videos, and it looks pretty bitchin'. And it's not Modern Warfare either. Like, it's more old school, like Gulf War through like World War type military style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
Nobody's shooting laser beams and shit at you, or throwing fucking knives across the map. Yeah, it's apparently pretty fucking sweet.
Huh. And these are the games that I'd love to get into, but most of my days are filled with all right, kids, time for bed, and once we go to bed, then it's wife and I are watching a mind-numbing movie or TV show, and then we're going to bed.
If I don't play, my wife she watches some dumb shit, and then occasionally she'll put something on and she'll pick something. She's like, "I picked this out because I thought you'd like it," and I'm like, "What? Like, how long have we known each other? You thought I would like this? Like, she just watches dumb shit. I can't."
Name one of the things that's dumb. I gotta hear it now.
I don't even know. Like, the second I hear somebody talk on it, I tune it out because it's just a lot of what you watch are like women shows, and it's like primarily women, which nothing against women, but that's not like the type of like show I want to watch or whatever. She'll watch like The Bachelorette and all those shows, and I'm just like, not for me. She watches some really weird, like, psycho killer thriller type documentaries and shit like that, which I'm pretty sure she's going to murder me in my sleep one day. So if I just don't show up to record, you know why.
She's trying to gather information.
But like every now and again, I'll look up and I'm like, that's pretty interesting. But other than that, I just tune that shit out.
Yeah, see, that sounds fun. We're trying to work on gathering the balance and figuring out how to get our own time and do our own hobbies. But then at the same time, my wife is one of those people. She's very selfless. Like she does not put anyone above, or doesn't put herself above anybody. Like everybody goes above her. And so like I've asked her a few times. I was like, so what are some hobbies you want to get into? And for quite a few years, it was, I don't know. I don't really know if I have hobbies, because we were new parents, or not new, but we had our two younger kids, and we were, just knuckling down, trying to stay, keep our heads afloat. And then more recently, thankfully, we've started to figure some things out. She wants to do horseback riding. Loves,
that's a cheap
we
hobby.
Back again then. We actually, so this May, we're going to a place called Dude Ranch. And they offer like a weekend kind of getaway, where you get to go horseback riding. They offer like lodging and all that stuff.
It's a male strip club. That's where you're going for the weekend. Just gonna stare at a bunch of dudes and thongs.
When we ask him how his weekend at Dude Ranch went, he's like, I don't want to talk to him.
Probably, I'm gonna be like, look, I don't want to look at another set of spandex ever again.
Assless chaps.
There you go. But
is it really called Dude Ranch? That's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called Dude Ranch, and I mean it's like a legit place. And thankfully, because I'm a heavier set dude, I'm like 250, I'm 225 right now. A lot of horse ranches, they don't allow you to be over 200 pounds. Yeah, I found that rule out, and I was like, well, I guess that excuses me.
We're not riding any horses. They got to break out the Clydesdales for you.
Apparently, like I'm apparently just so much of a man that I can't ride horses right now.
Shit.
So
man. Tell that to the people on the Oregon Trail. They put so much shit on those horses.
Is that in Georgia though?
Yeah, that's out there in Georgia. You're right. I know the Oregon Trail. Like, these things have been pulling trailers for generations that were ease over like 10,000 pounds, and I'm like, and you're worried about my 225? Okay.
They don't want PETA knocking on their door. Excuse me.
But yeah, that's only in Georgia. I haven't looked anywhere else. Like, I'm not really willing to travel super, super far to go ride horses. Like, nah. This place is about 45 minutes from the house, and it's not too bad.
Your sister and I went to like a little, I can't even remember the name of it. We got some bag of cups, coffee cups and everything, but it was a little kind of bed and breakfast, kind of on a ranch kind of thing. We went there for like our second year anniversary. It was right before Jasper was born. Or the year before Jasper was born, we went there. They had archery, they had fishing, we went horseback riding. It was pretty cool. And I mean, obviously they don't want you being the size of a beach wheel, but like I'm 225 and they didn't tell me that I could ride,
Yeah. I mean,
so that must be like a weird Georgia thing. They got 50 horses over there or something.
Well, like when my wife told me, she's like, I want to go ride horses. I did a ton of research and I was like, all right, let me go find a ranch where we could go out to. And everywhere that I looked, it was like 200 pound max, 200 pound max, 200 pound max. And I was like,
maybe they just have the smaller breed of horses because they're cheaper to take care of.
It's possible. Maybe. Yeah, it's possible. all you need is a good Tennessee Walker. Shit. I've seen Tennessee Walkers hold some pretty big folks.
I mean, I used to ride a paint and, loved it and it was awesome. But I was like 205, 215 when I was riding that horse, and never a problem. Not once. That horse didn't even give up. Didn't even care if I was on his back or not.
Nice.
Man, I get it if you're like talking about a horse that's maybe only 12 to 14 hands high, and but shoot, a lot of horses around here just on a regular about 16 to 17 hands.
Speak English, man, for the non-Texan Georgian
how they measure the height. That's just how they measure the height. But I used to have a Tennessee Walker that was a really big horse. And it was, like I said, 19 hands high. It was a big boy.
What is hands in relation to feet?
Probably roughly.
I just foot and a half per 2 hands.
Yeah, that's exactly how they measure.
I mean, they don't use the metric system.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna wrap us up. This was a fun episode. I didn't expect us to go on the video gaming tangent. That was pretty fun. But yeah, hopefully weather's getting nice, unless it's monsoon season like it is here in Virginia, apparently. But hope you guys can get outside, find some you time to do some things you like. Hopefully, maybe we gave you some food for thought and some shit you can do if you currently don't have anything going on. But thanks for hanging out with us. As always, like and subscribe. Check us out on the Facebook group. Come hang out with us there and chat. And we'll catch you on the next episode. See ya.